What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris Infinite, and Generation Zero has some pretty iconic foods in it. From the set-piece foods that we can find in houses, to the ever-classic semla, or what about medkits? We chew those down in an instant, and it seems to be one of the core food groups for our young Swedish teen. That's why today I want to bring 5 different foods to GZ that would totally change the game. Maybe not in the hugest way, but they would open up new healable items that would bring a nice little touch of immersion along the way. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, let's have a word from our sponsor. A huge thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now, are you like me where planning a week of meals takes half of the week itself? Or is inflation making buying good, healthy meals a pain? Well, today, let's talk about Factor 75's chef-made, never-frozen meals. These ready-made meals are designed by dietitians to ensure every meal is packed with premium, science-backed nutritional quality. Factor's menus are updated weekly and include 27-plus meals and 34-plus add-on options. Choose your favorite meals or let them craft your order based on your taste preferences. And to top it all off, Factor offers meals for a huge variety of diets, be it keto, low-cal, vegan, or vegetarian. If you'd like to get started today, use my link in the description down below, or go to go.factor75.com and use the code FACTORSE33327 for 50% off of your first box. Again, the hugest shoutouts to Factor for being the first ever sponsor on my channel. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, this list is in no particular order. All of these would be fantastic to see come to the game. But the first one is probably the food item I want to see the most, and it's technically, I guess, not entirely a food, but it's coffee. Now, coffee in Sweden is accompanied by a tradition of fika. There are typically 2 fika breaks in the day, one at 10 a.m. called fika rast, and one at 3 p.m. called fika paus. Fika is basically when you get together with your friends, family, or coworkers for a short break in the day to enjoy a cup of coffee or tea with some snacks. So, coffee in Sweden go a long way back, being integral to a Swedish tradition. Now, Generation Zero doesn't have things like sleep or anything, so a cup of coffee isn't going to be there to keep you awake like what it does in real life. But what if this liquid gold instead added stamina regen to your character? So you wouldn't be slamming back coffee to heal yourself like the other food items on this list, but instead would be using this for constant stamina regen. Kinda like the infamous Rad Kit. It would be awesome to have a lesser form of the Rad Kit that comes at no cost. And in all honesty, the idea of slamming back like 15 coffees before a big fight just to sprint around like crazy doesn't sound like too bad of an idea to me, personally. As a final aside for the stamina regen too, as a person that likes to play HUDless, which I know is kind of niche here in Generation Zero, but as a person that likes to play HUDless, the HUD effects from the Rad Kit can be kind of intrusive sometimes, and it'd be awesome to have an option that doesn't give crazy HUD effects, even if it's a far less potent of an item. But potency of coffee aside, let's talk about potatoes. The next food item on the list, and one that would be great for base building as a whole, bringing an entirely new purpose to building extra bases by having a potato empire. You could find potatoes at various farm plots around the map that you could then craft with a bit of wood to create a small potato plant. After a certain amount of time, this could grow a single potato per plot, giving you the chance to farm healing items the proper way. The way an actual farmer does. The raw potato wouldn't offer very much health though, because it's a frickin' raw potato. Who's gonna actually eat that? But if we took our potatoes and then crafted them into Swedish Hasselback potatoes, they could then become a slightly better source of health. Hasselback potatoes originate from a restaurant in Stockholm called Hasselbacken, and it's named actually for the technique of cutting the potatoes into the thin slices, which you could do with a variety of foods to spiff them up. Now, it doesn't need to heal anything crazy like our main diet of medkits do, but still a slightly better health source so you could use them viably instead of eating it raw, which could offer like 1 health or something ridiculous. Though realistically, these food items could be added and have 0 positive effects, and I think I'd still enjoy them as little pieces of immersion along the way. Now for our third food item of the day, let's talk about falukorv. This Swedish sausage is a combination of smoked meats and seasonings, and as it's fully cooked, it can be eaten as is. As our first real food item of the list outside of the Hasselbacks, these could possibly offer a good chunk of healing, say maybe worth a simple medkit, and could be acquired from any of your local Kunsam or as a drop inside of backpacks. Falukorv is a traditional Swedish food, and would be a great little piece of Swedish culture. The history of these sausages reaches way back to the 16th century, where in copper mines would use leftover bits of work oxen to make these tasty treats. There's a couple variety of falukorv out there, but I think keeping it simple with just the standard sausage would be great, and would offer a solid new early game health source along the way. But let's look at something that would justifiably be a really great source of health instead of these more minor items. Tushonkas. Tushonka have been brought over by the Soviets, and why the heck would we, a likely starving teenager, not steal ourselves some cans of this stewed beef mix? Tushonka can be used and preserved in extreme situations, and is used not only as military rations, but also for feeding the general people of Russia. So it's gotta be tasty, right? Though, I'll be honest, some of the pictures leave a little to be desired. I'm sure in times like what we're going through in GZ, food like this would actually be great to find. No prep needed, just crack the can open and you're good to go. And for our last foodie item of the day, canned beans. You can find them everywhere in Generation Zero, and it'd be great to actually get to use these canned preservatives. Funny enough, brown beans are a Swedish tradition as well, which I never actually knew about till making this video. Originally brought over by Swedish settlers in the 19th century, these staple of breakfasts everywhere originated from Sweden, of all places. They could serve as the standard medkit equivalent, being less nutritious than the tushonka, but more than the falukorv. With so many cans of beans, we could loot these from set pieces, Kunsam, and backpacks, and just have beans for days. But now I want to know, as we wrap up the video, any food you'd like to see in Generation Zero? Especially to my Swedish viewers, please sound off if you have any favorite Swedish snacks that you'd like to see. But for now, thank you for watching my video. Hopefully someday we could see GZ lean into some more immersive features like eating and sleeping and stuff. But for now, I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.